Cox. What would you like to know about me?
How long have you been a contractor?
18 years.
Since you got out of prison.
And what's your area of specialty, Jim?
Selling
Selling what?
jobs and electrical.
No.
And Keith, what about you? How long have you been in the business?
Ever since I was a boy.
Come on.
No, ever since I got out of college back in 1979. I've
Did
been
you
in the
did you
trades.
major in the trades, or how did you fall into
No, I
this?
did not major in the trades.
Don't have an attitude with me. I'm a client. Yeah.
I got out of school at a time when the job market was not great, and I ended up working for a guy that painted. Well, to backtrack a little bit, I had painted my way through college, and I continued to paint when I got out of college because there weren't any jobs available. So then I was working for a guy that also did a little bit of carpentry, and before I knew it, I was getting my own carpentry jobs, and the rest is history.
And Jim, what about you? Did you, when you were a young lad, is this how you envisioned your life, to be contractor to the stars of Fairfield County?
I'm not quite sure if I ever went that far.
Yeah.
I started off in the commercial restaurant business.
Uh-huh.
And doing all commercial kitchens in Manhattan and all of the country clubs in Westchester County. And then I graduated and went into prisons in New York State.
You went to prison, just to be clear. You what?
I worked in building kitchens, commercial kitchens
Ah.
and beverage systems in prisons.
Oh.
Until I started dating an architect back in 1996.
90 what, Keith? Yeah.
Who introduced me to Keith Gerstenmaier.
Oh. And so, how did you guys form a partnership?
Well, you know, when we first met, I knew Jim was a sharp guy, and I liked working with him. And he actually came and worked for me for, was it 2 years?
A couple of years.
Yeah. And then we parted ways, and was probably 10 years later we reconnected. Jim had some work he had been on his own, and Jim had some work he needed help with, and he called me up, and we reconnected. And probably the partnership we would have had years ago if it hadn't been for my wretched ex-wife, who sort of got in the way of that.
So what
Well,
makes
that
you...
was part of it, and I really just needed to be on my, not on my own, but I needed to move forward.
And what makes your partnership strong now as a renovation company? What's the strength of your partnership?
His strengths are not my strengths. My strengths are not his strengths.
And so, can you elaborate on that?
Fills up the whole cup.
How so?
I would prefer every day to be sitting out on the job site, talking to the people and selling everything we do.
Can you talk about what you mean by that, by selling? What do you really do? Because I think that's...
We do everything. We basically sell our clients our time. They choose how they want to spend that money or our time, because we do everything. We want our clients to have one phone number. And while I'm out there doing that, Keith likes to be in the office doing everything else that needs to run a business.
And what's that, Keith?
Well, I'm an accountant. I'm lots of stuff.
However, I think in the last year or two, or 2 years, I think you like being with the people more.
Well,
you seem to enjoy it
well,
more.
you know,
You seem happier
I
talking to clients
I
now.
have to say that in the big picture, Jim likes the things that I don't like to do. I
Right.
generally am so tired of clients after having dealt with them for so many years that I'm happy to have somebody else take over all the client relationships.
So Keith, do you do most of the designing?
I do some design work. I do all the estimating, all the billing, basically all the backside work. And Jim's the upfront guy.
So Jim
He's
is the
mouth.
upfront man. Jim is the mouth of the company. And what are you, the neck?
Call me what you will.
Can you talk about, I just saw that job in New Milford, in the fireplace, the mantle and the, whatever the design was underneath the mantle and the wood. It's one of the most incredible things I've seen, and I know the client said Keith designed that.
Just another day at the office.
The boss said I designed it, and I corrected him.
That's correct. That's right. You did, yeah.
But you both get the credit because it's both a
Well,
coder.
that's, I mean, you know, early on in my career, you know, what I liked about the business was the hands-on aspect, and in that, you know, it's the sense of creation, accomplishment, you know, where you can stand back at the end of the day and say,
Look what I did.
this is what I did today,
Yeah.
be it good or be it bad. So you're actually, you know, creating something. And as with any job, a lot of construction is mundane. It's, you know, repetition. But what I found invigorating was the, you know, the problem solving, and, you know, you get a nice juicy project and you put your head into it and you figure out how you're going to do it, and once you've gotten that done, then it falls back into the mundane and the, you know, it's just,
Well, what's your favorite thing about the job, both of you? Jim?
It's hard to say. I like it at the end of the job when we look back and we got paid and we look back and we say, wow, look at what we've done, and we change people's lives.
you know, I think one of the things that Jim really likes is to make sure that everyone's happy at the end of the job. That's very important to him, and to me as well. But, you know, it's easy to view this as just a job where you just go and build something. But, you know, you're working for people, and you become friendly with these people, because sometimes you spend, you know, 6-8 months in their home, and you see them every day, and you get to know them very well. And it's
Better than you'd like in some situations?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, and at the end of the day, you do not. They bought something for us, so you want them to be very happy with their purchase, no
And to
matter
tell
what
their
that
friends.
was, and to tell their friends.
That's right.
So what's different about the two of you from other contractors? I mean, what do you offer that other?
I think we care. I think we care
I
today,
think,
tomorrow,
yeah.
and next year.
Can
Long after the job is
elaborate
done.
on that? What do you mean by that?
I think a lot of people are in business to get the check and walk out the door, and that's their bottom line. They don't care, actually, if the client wakes up every day and goes, wow, look at how wonderful this job is. They care that they got their paycheck at the end of the day. They don't care that the job was as good as it could be for everybody, and we do.
Well, it's not only, you know, it's for ourselves too. We just
Right.
we like to do the right job,
Right.
and we don't like to cut corners. And a lot of times, we will spend our own money to make a job right.
Right,
even though
we will
it's-
lose profit to make sure that the job is perfect when it comes to unforeseen things.
Do you put that on your website? We like to lose money for our clients?
No,
Not in so many words.
we don't like to lose money for our clients. It's for us.
Maybe we should just pay the clients before we start the job,
Right.
so
That's
that we
true.
can work for them.
That is true.